Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the second installment of the game plan here at 91.7 WEEM. I'm David Staley. With me right now, fellow student and sports broadcaster Isaac Louder. Isaac, how are you doing?
Doing pretty well. No more football. It's basketball season. That's how I like it. And we can get this podcast on a roll.
I mean, really, if any of you really know me and Isaac, all that we ever like to talk about is just basketball, in particular the NBA, but really all types of basketball from the high school level all the way up until NBA. Yeah. And so really, let's just go ahead and just jump right into it. We're about 4 games into the NBA season for the Toronto Raptors.
Yeah, 4-3.
You want to go ahead and give me a quick summary of the Eastern Conference real quick? Let's talk about that real quick.
As far as the Eastern Conference, it's early in the season. You got to take it with so much importance. It's not can't really gauge where teams are going to end up from where they're at right now. Although Raptors are ahead right now. They're 4-0 this season. And
I'm not going to lie. I can't really say I expected much less with because, of course, they got rid of DeMar and got Kawhi Leonard and Danny
Which is
Green.
an upgrade.
Which,
no question there.
There's no question that's an upgrade. It's just, but there's a lot of controversy there because a lot of people are mad because they think, because they have a point too. DeMar DeRozan meant so much to the Raptors, he was
their greatest franchise player of all time.
I don't think he really was. I don't think that there's any doubt there, especially considering the fact that really not even that, really just how much he meant to the community and how much he meant, kind of like saying Reggie Miller almost, but obviously
there are some similarities for sure. Being able to stick with it throughout tough times and then nearly getting there on the better times with Kyle Lowry.
And then a lot of people really, I can kind of understand Toronto fans. I kind of sympathize that they're obviously mad that they traded DeMar DeRozan, but they're also not exactly that mad because look who they got in return.
They got the better player. They got the better player, and they got. As far as role players go, he's an A role player. He's an A role player.
Which is why I think it's funny. I saw a video. I don't think that they appreciate Danny Green that much, considering. Have you seen the video? I think I
know exactly what you're talking about.
Kawhi Leonard had the basketball in his very first game in Toronto.
They're freaking out. They're cheering.
The crowd's freaking out. They're all cheering and getting hype, and then they pass the ball to Danny Green, and also a new player, and they just get quiet.
It got dead quiet.
And then they pass back to Kawhi, and it gets even louder again. And
that's how teams are. They care about their star players, and it means something to them.
Yeah,
it means something to Canada. They're not all hockey. They really care about Toronto as a team.
You want to go ahead and continue the Eastern Conference?
Yes, Milwaukee Bucks. Obviously, the first thing you got to say is Giannis Antetokounmpo.
Antetokounmpo. I prefer to just call him the alphabet.
The alphabet is a freak of nature. He was made in a laboratory. This has been confirmed by a Woj bomb. He tweeted about a couple days ago. He is a genetic experiment that got loose from somehow he got into the NBA. I don't know how that happened, but that's what went down.
So that's basically the Bucks in summary. And who's after the Bucks?
Well, as of now, it's the Pistons.
As of now, of course.
76ers. They're going to be in it. The Pistons are probably going to drop to a later seed.
I can see the Pistons, honestly, now that they have Blake Griffin and they're going to have him for an entire year. And honestly, with Dwayne Casey as their new coach, which is a very underrated offseason move, I don't really hear anybody ever talking about that. But it's
because it's the Pistons.
Yeah, it's because it's the Pistons. But I can see him being a low seed playoff team. Which really, I don't think a lot of people really believe in that.
I love Andre Drummond. If he was in another era, he could have possibly been a Hall of Famer. And that's not even, I don't even think that's a hot take, if you want to know the truth. If Andre Drummond was in the 70s, he would be a Hall of Famer.
I mean, really, I can understand that. I probably have to second that statement.
Yeah, because it would just have so much more activity down low. It's just a different game. Andre Drummond's real ability can't be taken. And then Blake Griffin's.
Yeah, Blake Griffin, of course. I mean, when he's not injured, he's one of the best players, or best power forwards in the league at least.
Yeah, he's a top 20 player, I think, healthy.
I can see that. And then, 76ers. We already all know about the Sixers and their young talent with
Joel Embiid. You got to start. Do you start with Joel Embiid when you talk about the 76ers?
Well, I mean, for right now, I do. I can see Ben Simmons taking over in the future. But the thing is, I see them as almost equals. I mean, they have different play styles. They really are. It's hard to compare, but I see them as equal as far as talent. I mean, Joel, I think, is might overtake Boogie Cousins this year if he hasn't already as the best center in the league.
He's the closest thing to Hakeem Olajuwon that we've ever seen.
Which, if you know me at all,
I ride Hakeem Olajuwon.
I like Hakeem Olajuwon. I kind of fill everybody's minds with Hakeem propaganda.
Yeah, you think he's the number one big man of all time because you're a psychopath.
I do think he's the number one big man of all time.
A dummy.
Tell me one player with the amount of finesse as well as skill, or amount of finesse as well as power that Hakeem Olajuwon possessed.
Kareem Abdul-Jabbar.
Keyword there is power.
What? You think Kareem Abdul-Jabbar wasn't powerful?
Not near Hakeem standards.
What? Prime Kareem Abdul-Jabbar, Milwaukee 72.
I'm not
7'2".
I'm not saying
275 pounds.
I'm definitely not saying he was weak, but I'm definitely not saying.
Okay, I guess he's not.
He's definitely. He's no. I don't think he's on even in the same tier.
They're pretty similar.
They're not.
You have this 84 Lakers propaganda in your brain.
Kareem has the accolades. No, I do not have that 84 Lakers propaganda.
You're right now when I say Kareem, you thought of a bald dude with a goggle.
No, I think of Lou Alcindor with the sideburns.
I'm talking about a freak of nature. I'm talking about a dude who's nearly Wilt Chamberlain level, just with freakish skill.
Are you sure about that?
Yes, that was Kareem Abdul-Jabbar in 1972.
That was Kareem, but
we're talking 35, 17, and 4.
He was a heck of an athlete, yes, in a weak era.
Weak era. That's a
weak
argument. How about that? That's a weak argument.
All right, touche. But for big men, I've asked you this, and you still have never seemed to accomplish this. Name 5 big men that played with Kareem.
That played with Kareem?
In his prime, in the early or mid-'70s.
Okay, prime Kareem.
Prime Kareem.
I believe Bill Russell was still in the league, but he wasn't.
Bill Russell was not in the league by then.
In 72?
Bill Russell was not in the league in 72.
Are you sure?
He had. I am sure.
Okay. Well, Wilt was.
He had Wilt. I'll give you Wilt.
Wilt was Wilt. I feel like Moses was.
Yeah. So you know who the next best was?
Malone.
After Moses, you know who the next best was?
After Moses.
It was Artis Gilmore. That was the next best center after Moses.
Don't rip Artis Gilmore. Artis Gilmore is pretty good.
I'm not gonna.
I'm
kind of ripping him.
He's one of.
I want to say I'm not ripping him, but
prime Artis Gilmore is probably top 10 defensive player of all time.
Are you sure about that?
Yeah, that's a substantial claim. I would say he's in there. Obviously, I don't know everything about Artis Gilmore because he literally played in the ABA in the 70s. So
exactly,
I'm not. But yeah, Artis Gilmore was a pretty decent player. He was not. I mean, Artis Gilmore was better than say Nikola Jokic. Like what?
Dude,
if you want to play this game right now, is it really that weak of an era?
All right, you know what? We're just gonna have to agree to disagree because we can probably do this entire podcast on just that claim.
Yeah,
but let's just go ahead and get. So we already talked about the Sixers.
I wanted to mention the Pacers and clearly the Celtics.
Yeah, as an Indiana radio station, it's kind of our job to mention the Indiana Pacers.
Mention the Pacers. It's not complicated. We have a bright future. We have Victor Oladipo, we have Domas Sabonis, and we have Miles Turner. These are all players that are 22, and Vic's like 26, right?
Yeah, I think he just hit 26.
Okay. These are guys with a lot of room to improve in a city that is known for improving players. You know, we can talk about Paul George. We can talk about what's his name, Danny
Granger,
and then back to 01, Jermaine O'Neal. We got like mentionable, most of them improved players because I believe that we have one of the best staffs in the league as far as improving talent.
As far as improving talent, yes.
I mean, we're not Spurs, but
we are definitely.
We aren't Spurs. I'm not claiming that, but we have a staff that improves talent, which is very. It's nice to be a Pacers fan right now, and that's as far as I can say. Things are bright.
I can say as I personally know more about Indiana than really any other team, considering I live here. But I've never really seen a city, or I've never seen Indianapolis come together as much for any sports team than the Pacers right now, except for 2000s late 2000s when the Colts were doing great.
Yeah, Peyton Manning.
Like I go to a Pacer game and I hear all the little kids yelling at Victor and stuff like that. Like you didn't hear stuff like that 2 years ago with Paul George. Or
now this will seem very appealing to emotion, clearly, but as far as players go, Victor Oladipo is someone that we can kind of wrap our arms around a lot more than Paul George.
He really is.
It's not even close, really, because Paul George, I didn't like Paul George. I didn't like his personality off rip. I never did because he had the Kobe mindset even when he wasn't nearly Kobe good, which is annoying to say the least.
If you're going to have the Kobe mindset, it's exactly what you said. You need to at least be somewhere near the skill level or talent of Kobe.
I remember exactly.
Or even the work ethic, because I'm going to be real. Paul George doesn't have the Kobe mindset because he didn't have the Kobe work ethic. I mean, he had a good work ethic. I mean, that's how he came back from the injury.
You remember that game where Paul George passed to C.J. Miles, and C.J. Miles took it was sort of open, but not really. But it was a decent shot for C.J. Miles, who's a sharpshooter, and he was angry that C.J. Miles didn't pass the ball back.
Yeah, and
he's like, I need to take that last shot, and I thought that's not how. No, he had a good shot. He took a game-winning shot, and he missed, and you got to live with that. But he was viscerally upset that he didn't get the final shot, and all I could think was, I don't think that's a good way to think of. That's not a good way to think of basketball, is what I said. That's not a good teammate to be upset with someone for taking the final shot, and I don't think Victor's that type of person. That's the best way to put it.
No, and so there's Pacers. We're just going to quickly wrapping up with the East here. What else you got for me?
Celtics, and then we'll finish off.
What's their record right now?
Right now, they're 2-2. Kyrie's underplaying, obviously. Tatum's playing.
I just saw a quote today saying that he has been underwhelming for himself on defense. He said he needs to find it internally. He said he hasn't really gotten the effort out that he really needs to. And looking at the game film, I can kind of see that, but I'm not going to say it, considering that 90% of people that I know would kill me if I talked bad about Kyrie.
The thing with Kyrie is that what is his really his point on the team is he's a closer, like a pitcher who only pitches in the 8th and 9th series or inning. Yeah, that's what his job is. He's a finisher. He's the best closer in basketball, and he has leadership qualities. And when you need a bucket, he can bring it, which is something that, frankly, 75 to 80% of the NBA can't say they have a player like that. They don't have a player that can go out and get a bucket at will, and that's immensely valuable. Honestly, that's my take on Kyrie Irving. That's all he is to me. He's not a leader. He's not a team's best player on a championship team, I would argue as well.
I think they have really the best piece to look forward to. It's going to sound mainstream at Jason Tatum. I think he is
mainstream. Going mainstream.
It is mainstream. I mean, who do you know that doesn't say Jason Tatum? He's only 20.
He's only 20.
He's not.
He makes a layup. He's only 20.
I'm not gonna lie. They've got a point. He is only 20, and look what he's doing. I mean, it's not even all about the stats either. You can just watch a game.
That's Jaylen Brown too.
Yeah, Jaylen Brown too. He's underrated.
He's a good 3-and-D wing defender, and he's athletic as all hell.
I got here everyone's saying, dude, please stop riding Jason Tatum. And I'm like, have you watched a single Celtics game? And they tell me, well, he only averaged 13.8 points per game. I'm like, then you haven't watched a game.
How he averaged 13 was what was truly impressive, because he has a skill set that once he improves, the scoring averages will balloon. They're going up to 24. They're going up to 28 later in his career, and you can just see that with the skill.
Especially when you see right now he's been training with Kobe Bryant, and you can even see the glimpses of it. Like in the opening game this season, I saw him playing the 76ers. He had a
buzzer beater, didn't he? It was a post fadeaway to his right shoulder.
It wasn't a buzzer beater. It was a game winner, and that was their second game, I believe. I'll have to go double check, see who that was against, but
it was impressive. That's all I could say.
It was impressive. Oh no, it was against the Knicks.
Yeah, that was very impressive to see.
And yeah, it really was impressive. But really, when you watch him, you can tell how much work he put in with Kobe Bryant. You can just kind of see the similar moves that they have. How the Tatum step backs and his post fadeaways, and really
his offensive ability is unmatched as a 20-year-old right now.
Yeah, and so then I was also. Now we're going to go transition over into the Western Conference real quick.
In the West, we'll just go from top of the seeding right now. Starting with the Nuggets, Joker being most skilled big man of all time, obviously.
That's not Hakeem Olajuwon.
No, it is Nikola Jokic. He's the most skilled.
Best passing big man, not most skilled.
Okay, well, yeah, you're probably right, but
I think you feel like most guard skills.
Yeah, he has a lot of guard skills, which are just not.
He's essentially just like a giant point guard that's a big man. A giant pass. Like, think of it as if Rondo just changed skin tone and got about 8 inches taller.
And not particularly athletic.
Yeah. So then, there's actually surprised me, but I mean, if we're being honest, they're going to go down. There's no way that they stay this way.
Early.
But they did take down the Golden State Warriors, though.
Yeah, which is always impressive. Anytime you can do that. The Pelicans
took down Rockets by like 20.
Davis. I mean, do you really need?
I mean, MVP candidate. I picked Kawhi Leonard, if I'm being honest, for my MVP candidate. I think he's hungry. But
that's not bad. It's not bad.
And Anthony Davis, a close second.
I think LeBron's in there, but it's still. Yeah,
you got to think LeBron's never not in there for MVP.
Yeah, honestly.
I'm just saying based on how they have voted in years past.
Yeah,
not how it always should necessarily be.
Well, it's storyline versus storyline. LeBron might have a better storyline than Kawhi, which is possible.
It is possible.
And, Warriors.
Warriors. I mean, let's be real. I'm not even going to go into the Golden State Warriors. All I'm going to go into is my burning hatred for that of Kevin Durant and DeMarcus Cousins. Kevin Durant mostly because, I mean, that is the weakest move in all of NBA history.
It's just dorky.
I mean, how do you are the heart and soul of a team, and then you blow a 3-1 lead.
No, Westbrook was heart and soul. But
Kevin Durant was the one that everybody loved. Or not everyone. The one that did so much for the community. I mean, he and Westbrook both did, but you got to look at Kevin Durant was better essentially. So that's what people saw more.
It was better.
That's what I'm getting across.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So you blow a 3-1 lead to your current rival.
Oh, I remember that series. It was so beautiful.
And I mean, it was a great series for Golden State.
Klay Thompson in the fifth.
But think, Kevin Durant and his team choked the lead. They did. There's not really any other way to put it.
You lose 3-1, you choke.
You lose 3 games in a row. And then right after that, Golden State, who also won 73 games, most in NBA history, right after you lose that, a month later, you go and say, hey, I'm just going to join them. You were on the verge of beating them, too.
I don't care what they say. It's a weak move, dude. It's weak.
There is no way anybody can convince me otherwise that is just a weak move.
You can't take out the emotional component of this is the team that beat them. You can't take it out.
And then he starts talking about how he did so much, which he did do. I'm not taking away his talent. He is still the second best player in the league, undisputedly.
Undisputedly, yeah.
But
I just don't want to hear the business decision argument. I think it's dumb because you didn't do it for the money. You did it to get 2 rings that are weak rings. Dirk Nowitzki's ring is better than your 2 rings.
I would take Dirk Nowitzki's ring over if Kevin Durant theoretically got another
3.
No, even another
3 is equal.
No, I'm saying if he got another 4.
No.
If Kevin Durant got another 4 along with this too, with the team that he has around him, I would be more proud if I was Dirk Nowitzki internally, because I think I got 1 ring, and you know what? I did it fair. I did it the way that I wanted to.
He did it the way that it's made in the books, dude. It's beautiful.
And then you look over at Kevin Durant, and he's like, "Hey, yeah, I just wanted to win.
I just wanted to ring."
And then there's DeMarcus Cousins.
Oh God, he's even this. I think
he's even worse because let's be real. He hated on Kevin Durant more than I did for joining the Warriors, and you know what he turned around and did? He turned around and joined them and not just joined them. I think DeMarcus Cousins, best center in the league at the time.
The Pelicans had a contract, didn't they?
No, they did. He's trying to say they didn't, but there's literally proof that they had a contract for him if he would have given it time. And he joins the Golden State Warriors, not only just joining them, he does it for the league minimum, for $5 million, the best center in the league.
That's just so how do you even stop that, honestly? I mean, this is the best team. When healthy, this is an all-star team.
The salary cap was literally made so you don't have this scenario. So you don't have great players just taking pay cuts to win. But you know what? they're doing it anyways.
It's not. You can't say it's fair anymore. You can't say it's fair.
You can't. Like, I, as a Rockets fan since kindergarten, hate to say it, but there's no hope for the Rockets to beat the Warriors.
It's not gonna
As
happen.
a Rockets fan, like, even last year, I'm thinking Rockets have a chance. Yeah.
Before Boogie, it wasn't
then-
gonna happen.
And yeah,
Boogie's gonna be healthy for the playoffs.
Yeah, before Boogie, there wasn't even much of a chance that the Rockets would beat the Warriors anyways.
Boogie is going to be healthy for the playoffs.
And then now DeMarcus Cousins is going to be healthy for the playoffs, and it's just going to be even worse.
An all-star team is going to play
I
in the
I would
playoffs.
take that team over last year's Eastern Conference All-Stars.
Yeah, who would be the power forward? Love? Give me Draymond. Give me DeMarcus is the best. Curry is the best. Clay, who's better than Clay?
I mean, I believe
As shooting guard? Outside of James Harden?
outside of James Harden, there's nobody. And then Kevin Durant outside of LeBron James, there's nobody.
I don't even know who would be the Eastern Conference 2 guard. Vic?
Right now, probably Vic.
Klay Thompson's better than Victor Oladipo. I don't want to be that guy, but he's better.
Yeah.
He's got equatable stats, and he plays with like 4 other All-Stars.
Not just any other All-Stars, like good All-Stars,
And don't
like
even
starting
bring
caliber
up
All-Stars.
Don't even bring up Kevin Durant. We don't even need, because he smokes whoever the East has got. I don't care.
So
Giannis, give me KD.
There's just a quick summary of my hatred towards the Golden State Warriors. Now, can you go ahead and go on? Who's past the Warriors?
Yeah, we'll just forget about the Warriors forever. Grizzlies don't care. Clippers don't care. Mavericks don't care. I can talk about the Mavericks and Luka.
Mavericks, Luka. There's really not much to say other than, well, Dirk's old. Now we got Luka.
Yeah, Luka. Yeah, he's just the next.
Luka is a faster, more guard-like Dirk Nowitzki.
That's very dumb way to put it.
That's a dumb way to put it, but that's the most simple and quick way to put it.
Yeah, Spurs. Let's talk about DeMar.
DeMar,
gonna be
I mean,
decent.
we already talked about DeMar for as far as his trade,
Yeah.
so that's it for that. But
Just talk about what he's going to do for the
yeah,
system.
he's
What's Greg gonna do?
really. I think Greg Popovich, who's known for improving players, like we talked about Pacers improving people. Then he said, "We're no Spurs." They say that for a reason.
Because the Spurs are those
because
guys.
the Spurs are those guys that just
If DeMar's going to get a 3-point jumper,
it'll be for the
it's
Spurs.
going to be with the Spurs. Spurs is going to do it.
I mean, come
They'll
on,
expand
guys.
it 4 feet. I think the Spurs can figure it out.
I mean, this is what the Spurs are known for. They're known for taking players and not only like keeping them, like prolonging their careers, but making them better as they go on to.
Look, dude, they single-handedly put Tim Duncan in the top 10 conversation. I think they can
They
figure out how DeMar DeRozan can shoot from 4 feet further.
They
can figure it out.
They single-handedly made Tony Parker and Manu Ginobili
Hall of Famers.
Hall of Famers.
They wouldn't have been
They would have barely been role players. Had
They
it not
would
been for the
no.
Spurs.
They would be fringe all-stars.
Not Manu.
They would be one. I don't even know if Manu would ever be an all-star if
Manu.
he didn't play for the Spurs. Honestly, he probably wouldn't. Timberwolves. Talk about Jimmy.
Timberwolves, Jimmy's situation, or really the whole scenario of Jimmy Butler. It's kind of sad for me. I mean, because Jimmy's got a great story, but I just don't know what the heck he's doing.
We need to get this straight. Okay, so how do you take the incident?
I take the incident as Jimmy wants to win, and he thinks he's going about it the right way, which makes sense, but there comes a point where you got to tone it down a bit. Like screaming at your coaches that you effing need me and stuff like that. I get it, but you also got to realize from a Jimmy Butler standpoint, he has great young talent surrounding him, and Jimmy wants to win, and that young talent, he makes it seem like...
Well, we got to talk about the young talent. We got to talk about the mindset of the young talent.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm saying. It's
Is Karl Anthony Towns the man?
It doesn't seem like so.
It doesn't. Is Andrew Wiggins a man?
It's his third, fourth year in the league, and
Andrew Wiggins isn't a man. He's not he's not a man.
Yeah, it's their third and fourth years in the league, and they're not proving to me how good they really are.
And Jimmy Butler is a man, dude. He wants to win. He wants to win now, dude.
So I understand the Jimmy scenario. I sympathize for him, but I also think he's got to tone it down. Like, he's taking it too far to the extreme sometimes.
I thought Thibodeau would be able to figure out how Karl Anthony Towns can finally play some defense, but evidently not. Cat does not want any part of any D at all. He doesn't want to do any
I looked
of that.
at Cat in his first year in the league, and I thought this man is going to be – he's going to go down as great.
He still can. He's only
No,
23, right? 22?
He still can, but then now I'm thinking, well, now he's got to have the work. I thought he was just young. I thought it was just first year transition into the league. He just was kind of, you know what I mean, wanting to do.
Well, he's still going to be a stud. Okay, we're blowing this out. He's still going to be a stud.
He's going to be a stud, of course, but you got to be good at defense, or at least try on defense.
I would like my center to always be good at. I don't want Ennis Canners on my team. That's all I'm saying. I don't want any Ennis Canners.
Then, you can go ahead and tell me what's really after the Timberwolves. That's really just their whole fiasco.
Rockets, Lakers, Thunder. Let's talk Rockets. Interesting team.
Rockets, very interesting team. It's really, essentially, as a Rockets fan, I try and get hype and try and be like, yeah, we're going to do good. And then I get there, I get to thinking, and I'm like, we're still losing to the Warriors. So what does this matter?
Yeah, I mean, Capella's an all-star. James Harden's an MVP.
James Harden is.
And Chris Paul's an all-star / MVP.
James Harden's going to go down as a top 5 shooting guard of all time.
He's obviously not an MVP. I think he's in that conversation.
Chris Paul?
Chris Paul. Has he ever been in that conversation?
As far as actually most valuable to the team or actual MVP candidate?
Prime
because
Chris Paul
I think
has
prime
been
Chris
top
Paul,
5 MVP.
Yeah,
I can almost guarantee that.
He's been I think he came in second twice.
Yeah, he's in that conversation because he's that good. He really is that good.
And he hasn't really faltered very much from that time either.
Mm-hmm.
He's really kind of maintained since then.
Being defensive stud and then being a passing and shooting and leader, obviously.
Then adding Melo, who some people told me he was a cancer to the Thunder, and I mean it made sense. He just
look at the stats. He kind of was.
I mean, he killed the chemistry there. Mm-hmm. And people are saying he might do the same to the Rockets. I think not, considering his relationship with Chris Paul. And he does fit the Rocket system pretty decently. Take away the mid-range jumper.
Okay.
Take away the mid-range jumper.
That's hard to say that Carmelo fits in with an ISO mid-range jump shooter.
Well, people were getting, because Harden's an ISO jump shooter, not mid-range.
From three.
No, so take on there. Carmelo, he can hit threes. He can.
He's like a 34.
Either way, if he can hit him ISO, he can hit him if he's wide open. If he hits it off the screen.
I hope.
Yeah, exactly.
I hope for the Rockets' sake.
That's what I'm saying. And the way that Rockets move the ball, I'm sure that's not going to be much of a problem. Mm-hmm. I'm sure that they can sacrifice a few mid-range jumpers every now and then.
I mean, how much better is Carmelo actually than Trevor Ariza?
I think that they're about equal.
They're about equal.
I think Melo's offense far outweighs his defense. Trevor's the opposite.
Yeah.
I mean,
Lakers,
really not much talk about there. It's other than LeBron. It's LeBron.
I want to talk Lakers. I think Lonzo, Ingram are interesting.
I
think the fight is interesting.
I mean, outside of last year. Let's see here. Same team as last year, just add Rondo, get rid of Randall, and add top 2 player of all time, if not the greatest by the end of his career.
He's 2, I'd say. A strong 2.
I think he's a strong 2, but I think there's a very, very good chance by the end of his career, when all his accolades add up, he'll be 1.
If he's the number 1 scorer all time, which is very possible statistically if you do the numbers.
I think it's going to be hard to argue.
That's a hard right hook right there. That's all I'm saying if you're talking conversation for greatest player of all time.
And then, so yeah, that's essentially the Lakers. And can you kind of tell me who's after that?
Thunder. That Thunder's the last thing we're going to talk about.
Thunder, yeah, last thing we're talking about before we go.
We just literally went over any team that's interesting at all.
I mean, essentially.
We could have talked about Jazz, but I don't really care.
But, yeah, we could have gone over the Knicks.
Yeah, I don't really care.
I mean, I'm actually going to submit this to Nationals and for like a sports award. And they are based in New York, so we're just gonna go ahead and downplay the Knicks real quick.
Yeah, we're just gonna. Yeah, the Knicks guys are great.
The Knicks are amazing, guys. Right?
Porzingis, am I right? Am I right?
Yeah. But yeah, and, so going back to the Thunder.
Yeah, let's finish.
We're just gonna go ahead and finish on essentially Westbrook. Really more of an ISO player. Some call him a stat patter. It's kind of hard to argue against.
Yeah.
But
you can see the you can see the film.
See it. And then Paul George, who we also talked about, come back from his injury. You can see he's not what he used to be, but he's also, I wouldn't necessarily say he's bad either.
He's still possibly the best 3-and-D player in the league.
He's still pushing. I'll take Klay Thompson over him as far as 3-and-D.
Yeah, but Paul George brings things that Klay Thompson can't do.
That is true.
He doesn't have.
And essentially, that's really all that Thunder is, if I'm being honest.
Yeah, I don't. Steven Adams is interesting, but as interesting as Clint Capella, really.
Well, anyways, for the Game Plan second installment here at 91.7 WEEM, I'm David Staley. With me is Isaac Louder. Good night, everybody.